Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 391st Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Straight away you'll see that this battle is fought on the Germanic Forrest map. This is one of my favourite maps because it's got a bit of everything really. You've got the big open plains that you can fight in if you want to. Or if you want to bring barbarian troops to get the woods bonus, you can fight in the woods. It's a flat map with big open plains or woods if you like. So let's say I quite like this map, one of my favourites. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Mad King, who has bought the Rome Brutio faction. As you can see there, you see a lot of his units are hiding in the woods there. But you see he's got maybe 5 cavalry. He may well have another unit hiding in the woods there. But obviously we can't see his army there because most of them are in the woods. But you can see that he got 7 upgrades on his cavalry there. So that's experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks, who has bought the Rome Julio faction. Also you can see that some of his units are hiding in the woods as well as Mad King's. But if you notice here, just like to draw your attention to Steve's general, can you see 9 upgrades? That's 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his general unit. Now that makes that unit incredibly tough to kill. As you know, urban cohorts are excellent infantry in their own right, but fully upgraded. And also I see he's got 2 eagle units as well there. So there's a lot of morale going in there. 2 eagle units and his general there, infantry general. So it's going to be a lot of morale to his infantry. But if you notice here, can you see this infantry unit is also fully upgraded. Another urban cohort with 9 upgrades on. 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. And yet another one as well. So that's 3. That's his general infantry unit and 2 other urban cohort units that I can see so far fully upgraded. So and plus those 2 eagle units for extra morale. That's an interesting army build there. Let's see what the upgrades are on his cavalry. 7 upgrades. So he's got an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry as well. So that'll be interesting to look at. See how well that does during the course of the battle. But with that many upgrades, I would think not a lot of troops. Okay, our third teammate is Brotherhood member Mars, who has also bought the Rome Julio faction. Just like to draw your attention here, you can see he's got 3 archers, and I think he's got 12 infantry. So yeah, I think he's got 3 archers, 12 infantry. The upgrades are just gold shield, gold attack. Let's have a look at the upgrades on his cavalry unit, and he's got 7 upgrades. So he's got an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his Praetorian cavalry. But if also I'd like to draw your attention here to the old school Roman cavalry general, their armored general. Okay, and there he is there. And I think he's got 8 upgrades. So he's got 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on that armored general. And just to say, maybe up to 9-10 years ago, we always used to bring this armoured cavalry general as our Roman general. But as I said, about 9 or 10 years ago, we mostly changed to an infantry general there. But you use this general correctly, and it can harass and harangue and disrupt enemy lines, smashing into pilot shield units, smashing into archer units. It can be a very versatile unit when used correctly. If you noticed, I think Lando and Conan use this very well, and also Uther as well. So that's a pretty good army there. 12 infantry, 3 arch and 5 cavalry there. Okay, our next teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Macedon faction. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's 15 pikes. I think it's 15 pikes and 5 cavalry units. Now, many years ago, maybe 12, 13 years ago, I noticed that the Brotherhood was starting to lose battles against Greek cities. Our Roman armies just couldn't seem to beat them at that time. So what I did is I looked at Carthage and Macedon to try and build a counter army to Greek cities. And this is one of those armies here. As I say, I've tried different experimental armies and different formations, and this is the army that seemed to suit me best when confronting Greek cities. Let's get 15 pikes, a good solid tight formation, and then 5 archers as well to cover those big 120 man units that of course are very susceptible to missile damage. So to say, this army is probably, as say, 12 years old or so it'll be interesting to see how well it does against the Greek cities. As I say, it was an experimental army all those years ago, but it seems to have done okay since then. So there's our team, but you wait till you see the other team. It's got the ingredients to be a great battle. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at Steve's checkerboard, narrow checkerboard formation there. Remember, a lot of his units were hiding in the woods when we looked last time. I think he's got 10 infantry units. Now that is quite a small number of infantry for the modern day battlefield, and as I say, including those 2 Eagle units and his fully upgraded general unit. So there's a lot of morale going on there. But as I say, let's have a look at the upgrades on his troops here. Well, we know that some of his urban cohorts are fully upgraded, and I see he's got 7 upgrades on other units here as well. So he's got extremely well upgraded urban cohorts, but only 1 upgrade on his Eagle units, which I'm presuming he's not going to put into battle until he really has to. So I say there's a lot of morale going on there, and it'll be interesting to see how that narrow checkerboard formation does during the course of the battle. I see he's got 4 archers as well there. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at my old-fashioned block formation here. As I say, I like this block formation because it's pretty good with a dense, like kind of pike formation like that. If you're attacked at the front, the enemy's got to fight all the way through those dense pikes, and if they come around the flank, can you see I can just turn units to face any threat from the flank while keeping a steady front line still. So, you know, whether they come around either flank, I just turn units to face a threat, and as I say, I can still keep a steady front line if I'm being attacked from the front as well. So this block formation does quite good for me, and those archers certainly are good cover fire. Okay, and here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Mystique, who has bought the Rome SPQR faction. I'd just like to draw your attention to this army here. If you count there, Mystique has got 18 urban cohorts, okay? 18 urban cohorts. Now that means that Mystique has got 1,476 infantry. 1,476. Now each one of those infantry can throw 3 pilers each, which equates to 4,428 pilers. So those 18 urban cohorts can throw 4,428 pilers. So imagine the damage that those units can do before they even get into hand-to-hand combat. So that's a lot of pilers there that they can throw. And I see Mystique has got 2 cavalry units there with 7 upgrades on. That's an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack. So heavy on the infantry, light on the cavalry. It'd be interesting to see how well that does during the course of the battle. Our next teammate is Brotherhood member Bark, who has bought the Seleucid faction here, or Seleucid faction, depends how you pronounce it. I see he's got a silver shield legionnaire unit as a pilot shield unit out at the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, just with 4 upgrades on. And these guys can throw pilers, and they look a little bit like Roman urban cohorts, but their specifications are a lot less. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I think, what's that, about 9 pike units there. And if you notice, the forward units of the pike formation have just got 6 upgrades on. So that's just gold shield, gold attack. But the rear line has got 8 upgrades on. Okay, so the rear line of the pike formation, it's got 2 experienced stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So enemy troops have to fight through the lower upgraded troops here, and then when they're tired and they get through to the rear rank of those Seleucid pikemen, they're up against elite troops. I see he's got 4 archer units to cover his 120 man units against missile damage, so it's always good to bring that. And I see he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think he's got 6 cavalry units there, but with 1 mixed cavalry unit, I think they're okay. Look at the upgrades on his Seleucid cavalry, 8 upgrades. So that's 2 experienced stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Okay, then remember, these cataphract cavalry we often call the tanks of the ancient world because they're armoured from head to toe. And with those type of upgrades, and I think they've got something like 30 defence on them, so they're really really difficult to kill. And I see he's got a fast-moving armoured cavalry general unit there, and you see he's got 8 upgrades on that unit as well, 2 experienced stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now my guess is he's going to use that unit to run around the battlefield, hitting archer units, smashing into the rear of tired and battle damaged units there. So to be pretty good. It'd be pretty good to see how he uses that Seleucid army. Okay, their third teammate is Brotherhood member Trajan, who has bought the Greek Citis faction. He's got 8, 9, 10. I think he's got something like 12 spear units there, and he's got 1 armoured hoplite unit there, but the rest of his units I think are Spartans there. Yeah, so, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 archer units. I don't know whether he's forgotten that unit or not there, but yeah, I think he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Cretan archers there. The upgrades on his infantry there, gold shield, gold attack. And can you see those 3 units at the back that are his Cretan archers bodyguards kind of thing there? He likes to keep those units there to guard his Cretan archers. As I say, it looks like he's got 6 upgrades on his units there. Okay, and their fourth teammate, who's right over here in the woods, is Brotherhood member Spartan Leonidas. We don't see him playing much these days. He's very old veteran of RTW and the Brotherhood, and you can see he's bought the Rome SBQR faction there. As you can see, a lot of his units are hiding in the woods, and you can see he's got a Praetorian cavalry unit as his general. Have a quick look on his cavalry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He got 7 upgrades on his cavalry, so that's an experienced strike, gold shield, gold attack. So there's the other team there, and it'll be interesting to see whether we're going to fight out in the open plains or whether we will indeed be fighting in the woods. Should be a great one to watch. Okay, at this very early stage of the battle, you can see our team is formed up quite close together here. And if you notice, my Macedon block formation is at the back of my teammates there, ready to target that Greek city army if I get a chance. Okay, so as I say, this is a very early stage of the battle here, and we're just all forming up at the moment. Okay, at this stage of the battle, very early stage of the battle here, you can see that the Greek cities general's bringing his long-range Cretan archers and their bodyguards out to the left. You've got Spartan Leonidas' army out there as well, and you've got a couple of, I think you've got Mystique's 2 cavalry units over here on the left flank as well. So it looks like the enemy are looking to do a left flanking action of some sort here. I'm pretty sure, though, that Mars will be ready to neutralise any attack there by the enemy team. Let's say Mystique's got both the cavalry units over there, and you've got Spartan Leonidas' SBQR army over there. As I say, Trajan moving those long-range Cretan archers plus their Greek cities bodyguards around our left flank. Okay, you can see Steve moving forwards towards the Greek city army there. If you notice, my Macedon block formation troops are now moving in behind Steve's units there, because Steve looks like, as I say, he's moving towards the Greek cities there. What Steve may be looking at here is to try and entice the Greek cities to attack his army there, where I can then move my Macedonian troops through his army to engage the Greek cities. As I say, Steve is a very tactical player there, so that's what he may be thinking. You can see Mad King bringing his infantry round here to face Mystique's infantry, but remember, whichever one of our armies faces Mystique's army, they're going to be outnumbered by those 18 urban cohort units. Okay, can you see here Mars looking to use his cavalry general here, that fast-moving cavalry general, to target those enemy Cretan archers, and bang, as that general armoured unit there smashes into those Cretan archers. You see he's reduced them down to 54 men, or 54 men with that hit. Nice hit there by that armoured cavalry general there. That was very good there. As I say, Mystique's got a couple of cavalry units over there to try and cover the Allies' Cretan archers there against the cavalry attack. Let's just pause again for a second. But as you can see here, Mars has got his cavalry and archers out here trying to neutralise that left flanking action by Trajan's Cretan archers and Spartan units there. As I say, really, if we can take out those Cretan archers, that would be a big help to our team. Meanwhile, over here on the right flank, as I say, you can see Mad King's Brutio units moving towards the enemy SBQR troops, and you can see Steve has moved his checkerboard Julio troops towards those Greek city units. As I say, Steve may well be trying to entice those Greek city units to attack him. Then I can move my Macedon army forward to engage the Greek cities. Oh my gosh, can you see the pilers going in on this armoured hoplite unit, and yet it still hasn't routed. It's down to 29 men taking loads of pilot hits, and it's still managing to stand there. I think that's pretty good morale there for that unit to be able to hold as long as that. Oh, it's just routed now, but I thought it held extremely well there, bearing in mind the shock it would have suffered as well from those casualties that it suffered quickly. Let's pause again for a second. There's a lot to film in this battle from one flank to the other, so I'm trying to get as much as I can in for you. As I say, you can see the SBQR cavalry units over there, and you can see Mars' fast-moving general unit here, still trying to smash into those enemy Cretan archers, still trying to do as much damage as he can there with that fast-moving unit. He's got his own archers and he's got his own cavalry over there to try and cover those Cretan archers. If he can hit them with those, that would be great. You can see his infantry here are facing Spartan Leonidas' SBQR infantry as well there. But I say, Mad King here, I think he's got 14 infantry and he's going up against 18 infantry of Mystiques. So that's a big difference in infantry, and it's a big difference in pilot throwing as well. As I say, that army of Mystique can throw 4,428 pilers before they even get into combat. So That's quite a lot of damage they could do. Right, can you see Steve moving his units forward? And the Greek city's general has now decided to run his spearmen forward. The moment he makes contact with those Julii troops, which he's done now, he'll probably put his spears down. There you go. See, he ran forward, made contact with Steve's forward units, then put his spears down there. Now, if you notice here, can you see Steve's throwing loads of pilers into those Greek city units there, trying to cause as many casualties as he can. Now, if you notice here, can you see I'm running my Macedon block formation units forward here. Okay, let's pause again for a second. As you can see, Steve's put his forward units into testudo there, which is a classic defense for a Roman general against spear or pike attack. You can see I'm running my pike army forward here, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Greek city general, when he sees that, ups his spears and then backs off, because I don't think he'll want to face my Macedon block army, and maybe the Seleucid general that may then move his pikes forward to face my Macedon pikemen here. Okay, over here, say on the right flank, you can see Mad King's Brutio troops against Mystique's SPQR troops, and you've got the Seleucid archers, which will be trying to target my Macedon pikemen, so I'm going to target them with my Macedon long-range Cretan archers. But over here on the left here, can you see those cavalry units, so enemy cavalry units would love to smash into the flank of my engaged troops there if I do get engaged with those Greek city units. So that's something to watch there. Okay, meanwhile over here on our left, as I say, there's things going on from one flank to the other here. I think that there's been a lot of casualties given to those enemy Cretan archers by both Mars's archers and his cavalry hits there. Mars is doing incredibly well there at trying to neutralise that that left flanking action of Trajan's Greek city units. Okay, but over here, as I say, on our right flank here, you can see that I think Mad King's cavalry is hiding in the woods there, ready to come out. But as you can see, this is going to be one big tussle here, I think, on this right flank. Right, can you see my Macedon units running forward? Now, as I say, there you go. See the Greek city general upped his spears, and it wouldn't surprise me if he backed off now. There you go. You can see him backing off with his spears, but his Seleucid ally is advancing there to try and attack maybe my Macedonian unit. Right, you can see this cavalry unit of Mystiques here attacking the Julii archers there, doing a lot of damage. It wouldn't surprise me if that unit, that cavalry unit, actually broke. Yeah, it's just routed there, but it would have done a lot of damage to those Julii archers. Okay, so as you can see, the Greek city generals completely backed off his Spartan units and have taken them over to Mystique's army a little bit there. So it wouldn't surprise me if those Seleucid troops started to attack here. Now here you can see there's a lot of pilot exchanging going on between our Brutio ally and the enemy SPQR troops there. But as I say, Mystique's got 18 urban cohorts units there with all those pilots they could throw, so Mad King's going to suffer a lot of casualties there. I see the Seleucid archers there are targeting my Macedon pikemen, so I'm targeting those Seleucid archers with my long-range Cretan archers there. Okay, let's pause the game for a second. So you can see here that Mad King's thrown in a lot of his Brutio units, but you can see the Greek city general is bringing his Spartan units over here because he'd prefer to fight Rome than my Macedon pikemen here. So my block formation here, I may well move over to try and counter those Greek cities, or I may well try and take on Seleucid. If you notice here, my left flank would have been exposed to that Seleucid cavalry attack, so Mars, being a good team player he is, has brought his army over to cover my left flank. That's a nice tactical cover move there by Mars. Meanwhile, over here on the left flank, he's still moving his cavalry and archers around here, trying to take out as many of those Cretan archers as he can. As I say, there's things going on both flanks here, so trying to get all the action in for you is kind of a little bit difficult here. But make no mistake, Mars has done really well at neutralising that attack that was coming around our left flank. But over here on the right flank here, you can see that Steve's taken a lot of his cavalry over there to the right flank, probably with a view of massing them there and maybe smashing it into the flank of Mystique's engaged troops. Okay, that may be what's being looked at here. As I say, you can see Mad King here aggressively attacking Mystique's troops there with his Brutio troops, but those 8 Spartan units have come over to help Mystique. So, as you can see, a lot of Mad King's units have just routed there. And you can also notice here that Steve is bringing over his Julii infantry to help Mad King against those Greek city units and those 18 SPQR urban cohort units there. So that's a nice bit of support there by Steve. Now, I'm not, as you can see with my army, am I going to go over and take on those 8 Greek city units that may well just up spears and run away, or shall I go for the Seleucid threat? It's a bit difficult to say there. As I say, Steve here got his cavalry there around the rear of the enemy troops, looking to smash into engaged enemy troops there, is what I'm thinking Steve's thinking there. Say, remember, we are the green, the red, and Macedon. The enemy are the purple, Greek cities, and Seleucid. Okay, so just at a glance there, you can see exactly what's happening. Okay, so with my Macedon units here, I've decided I'm gonna take on the Seleucid units here. I may well have been thinking, if I can fight the Seleucid units, maybe take them out if I can, and then turn my units to face Greek cities, because Macedon have got more defence than Seleucid pikemen, so Macedon should beat the Seleucid pikemen there. But you can see the Greek city general there is splitting his army a little bit, bringing some units over to help his Seleucid ally there. And if you notice, the Seleucid pikemen are really being pushed in onto my pikemen there aggressively. And over there on the right flank, you can see that Steve's cavalry just charging into the rear of Mystique's units, and bang, as that Julii cavalry smashes in to the rear of those engaged units there. And you can see that Mad King's Brutio troops are also pushing forward there to try and engage. Okay, that's the SPQR general just been taken out. Right there you can see Mad King had his cavalry hiding in the woods, and he's just brought them into the fray, and bang, as they charge into those SPQR units there. So Steve smashing in from the rear, and Mad King smashing in from the front there, trying to take out those 18 units of Mystique's SPQR troops there. So this could prove pivotal here. This right flank of our team here could prove pivotal. Maybe whoever wins here could go on to win the battle. Okay, you can see Steve now is bringing his infantry units over here to help Mad King. So he may well be looking to try and finish those off as soon as he can. Here you can see my Macedon units are starting to rout some of the Seleucid pikemen there as I'm aggressively moving them forward. But you can see a clump of Spartan units coming over here looking to attack my right flank along with that enemy SPQR unit. Now Mars here is facing all the SPQR army plus those well upgraded Seleucid cataphract cavalry plus some Greek cities units. Okay, and a lot of his cavalry have been taken out at this stage. He's just got battle damaged cavalry left. Okay, so Mars is not in a very good position here. He's still got the vast majority of his infantry left, but if you look at the odds that he's up against, he's going to be up against big odds there. But moving on over here on the right flank, you can see a couple of Steve's cavalry, or 3 of Steve's cavalry have been routed now, that came in behind the rear of those SPQR troops. And as you can see, the Mystique is now throwing infantry units forward aggressively against Mad King's Brutio troops there. And don't forget, Mad King has got those Greek city units coming in on his flank as well. But as I say, Steve's moving all his infantry over to that right flank to help Mad King. Okay, so if you notice here, I'm turning some of my Macedon units to face a threat from those 4 Spartan units that are coming in on me there, as well as I'm fighting forward against those Seleucid pikemen as well. Okay. So I'm fighting Greek cities coming in on the right, and I'm fighting the Seleucid units in front of me as well at this stage. Okay, you can see Mad King has got his cavalry locked and loaded there. Now it looks like he's going to use them tactically. Maybe he's going to come in from different angles when he smashes in there. You can see Mystique has spotted the danger and has turned 3 units to face those Brutio cavalry for when they decide to charge in. So well done to Mystique for spotting it. Okay, you can see these 3 Brutio cavalry units going in there, and bang! They smash straight in there then. And then he's going to charge another 2 in there. And see that? And then another one at the rear there. And bang! As that one goes in. And bang! As the other one charges in there. So that's all that cavalry charge bonus is just smashed into those SPQR troops there. Let's say Steve shooting loads of arrows into those Greek city troops there. But can you see here, Mars now, all of his cavalry have just battle damaged troops now, but he's just been hit by that Seleucid cavalry there charged into his flank. So poor old Mars is facing fresh SPQR infantry. He's got Greek city units coming in on his flank, and he's got this Seleucid cavalry smashing into him as well. But his job there, holding as long as he can to hold up those enemy troops, is absolutely imperative that he holds as long as he can there to give us a chance to try and take out the rest of the enemy troops there. As you can see here, my Macedon troops are facing Seleucid and that clump of Greek city Spartan units that are coming at me. But I think Steve and Mad King here are trying to take out Mystique's 18 urban cohort units there, and those Greek city units that are also pressing in on Mad King. Okay, so it's time is the essence. Right, okay, can you see that Seleucid cavalry coming in behind my pikemen? And bang, as they were going to charge in. But can you see, I spotted that, and I've turned my pikemen to face the threat. Okay, I've turned the pikemen there to face that threat there of the heavy cataphract cavalry coming in behind me. But of course I've had to turn my pikemen away from fighting those Greek cities there to face those Seleucid cavalry turning in there. So at the moment, several of my units are being attacked in the rear by those Greek city units here, because of course I had to turn to face those Seleucid cavalry. There's several generals just been taken out there. Let's say Mars, just pause the game for a second, Mars here that is holding up against those Greek city units, those fresh SPQR troops charging in. We've got those cataphract cavalry, tanks of the ancient world, plus Mystiques infantry in behind us here. So things not looking very good for our team at this time. I'm just hoping here that Mad King and Steve have managed to take it. Yep, they have. If you notice here, all of Mystique's units have now been taken out, and those Greek city units that were there helping as well, I think mostly have been taken out here. So it's imperative now that Mad King and Steve get their army over to the left flank there to support Mars as quickly as they can. They need to now, don't bother about, I think there's one Greek city unit left there, don't bother about that, just run all your troops over there to support Mars, who's been holding incredibly well there against the attacks that's been going in on him. Seleucid cavalry, Greek cities coming in on his flank, and those SPQR troops smashing him from the front here. See those Seleucid cavalry going in there? Bang! As they charge him. Remember, they got 8 upgrades on. I imagine he'll be auto-attacking there, so he'll be using his effective against armor maces on the rear of Mars's troops there. Now, Mars has held incredibly well there against the massive attacks that he's been putting up with on that left flank, holding the enemy there for as long as he can, allowing us to be able to defeat the enemy on the other flank there. But at this time now, you can see most of Mars's infantry has now been taken out, and our left flank is very much in danger after a terrific fight of being broken here. Okay, Spartan Leonidas has played this pretty cool. He's held his troops back. They're all fresh, fully loaded with pilers, my guess is there, and they're really advancing on the left flank. He's been able to send troops over here as well to attack the rear of my Macedonian troops, where I'm trying to face the attack of those Greek cities. Can you see Mad King's charging his cavalry into the rear of those engaged Greek city units? Hammer and anvil attack. My Macedonians being the anvil, his cavalry being the hammer there. Classic hammer and anvil attack there. As I say, Steve and Mad King need to get their infantry over to that left flank as soon as they can to try and stop the enemy from rolling us up from left to right there. Okay, so that cavalry attack by Mad King that's taken out those 2 Greek city units that were attacking me there. But remember, my Macedonian general is dead, and Macedon's morale's not very good anyway. Okay, so with my general dead, and I'm now facing those fresh SPQR infantry, plus there's some Greek city units coming in on me as well. So I'm not sure how long my Macedon army is going to hold there. They're probably being piloted by SPQR troops. They're getting a lot of pressure there by SPQR, Greek cities, and the Seleucid unit there as well, pushing in on me. So as I say, Steve and Mad King, as they need to get their infantry units over here as fast as they can now to try and neutralise the attack. I think at this time we seem to have more cavalry than the enemy at the time, from what I can see. But as you can see here, after a really great fight, Mars' army has been defeated, and the enemy, as I say, are looking to roll us up from left to right here. They're really pressing in on my Macedon troops. Nice hit in the rear of those Greek city units by Mad King with his cavalry there. But can you see Mad King and Steve both attacking those SPQR units? Just pause the game for a second. But both Mad King and Steve's armies are tired, or very tired, and those SPQR units are fresh, and that doesn't have to make a difference in battle. Okay, so Steve's and Mad King's are either very tired or tired. Okay, and that really affects their battle proficiency, and they're up against fresh SPQR troops there. So this is going to make a big difference. I can see a lot of my Macedon units are starting to rout. As I say, Macedon morale is not very good, and with the general dead, I'm not sure how long my Macedon units are going to hold there against those, as I say, those fresh SPQR troops coming in on me there. Remember, the enemy are SPQR and Greek cities and the Seleucid. Okay, we are the red, the green, and Macedon. But as you can see, a lot of my Macedon pikemen now are routing under the pressure and casualties that they've suffered. I think I've got 1 unit left with 12 men in left, and that's going to rout pretty soon. Okay, I've got Greek cities pressing in on me, plus those fresh SPQR. There you go. So that's all my pikemen have now been routed. Okay, we've still got some cavalry units here. Mad King still going around the battlefield here, hitting targets with that. But it's infantry that we seem to be short of at the moment. Remember, as I say, we are the red Julii and the green Brutii. And as I say, all my Macedon troops have been taken out. I've still got some Cretan archers left that I'm still shooting into the rear of the enemy troops with. But as you can see here, at this time I don't think things are looking too good. I see that our Brutioid allies general's just been routed as well. Let's just pause the game. Yeah, so Mad King's general's just been routed. And you've got, as I say, Greek city units and the enemy SPQR troops pouring in on us as well. I see Mars has just attacked with some battle damaged cavalry. As I say, Mad King still got his cavalry on the battlefield there, but I think his infantry that we may well be a bit short of here, looking at the number of enemy infantry that are left. So say I'm still shooting loads of arrows into the rear of those enemy troops with my Cretan archers there. But as I say, we've still got a bit of cavalry left there. You can see Steve Longshanks general. Remember that general was fully upgraded, 3 stripes, gold shield, gold attack there. But over here you can see a lot of our allies troops are starting to rout. You've got Greek city and enemy SPQR troops coming in behind us as well now. Yeah, so unfortunately for our team, a lot of our units have now been routed. And as I say, not looking very good for our team. Remember, the enemy are the SPQR, the Seleucid and the Greek cities here. So you can see now, just at a glance there, most of our troops have now been taken out. There's 2 of our generals there, both Steve's and Mars generals have just been taken out as well there. I think Steve just got a couple of archer units left, maybe a cavalry unit left now, but let's just pause the game for a second. So as you can see here, it was a really intensive battle. It started over here on the right flank here. You can see the piles of dead here on this right flank. And then as we move up from that right flank, you see not so many dead there. We move up into the centre. Really intense fighting there, mostly pikes that were engaged, pikes and spears there. And then over onto the left flank there, where Mars held so well against the odds there. He knew he was trying to hold as long as he could there to give us a chance to try and take out the enemy on the right flank, and that's what we managed to do. So really well done to Mars there. Great holding by him against really massive odds. So I say well done to the enemy team there. Well played, guys. That was a good battle. As I say, I still got a couple of my Cretan archer units there, so I'm just throwing them in there to alt attack against the enemy SPQR troops there. I got another unit still shooting arrows into them as well, but I would think that I'd probably admit defeat pretty soon here now, because there's no chance. There you go, just admitted defeat there. So that's my Macedon army now, has all been taken out. As I say, I think Steve's still got a cavalry unit and a couple of archer units left there. But as I say, like we said before in other battle videos here, when the battle's lost, I think it's best just to kind of admit defeat, and let's get back into the lobby and get a new game going. So what I think there. Seleucid general still alive as well, so that's pretty good. I think that's the only unit he might have left now, so it just goes to show how intense the fighting was there. Let's say Steve's still trying to charge a cavalry unit into enemy troops there. I think as the enemy are trying to chase down his army, let's go triple speed here just to get the battle. There we go. He's admitted defeat there. So first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there. Nice game. As you can see, it is a close defeat, as we thought it might be. Close defeat there, and just like draw your attention to that 12 or 13 year old Macedon army of mine. I managed to scrape in the highest kills there, so I was pleased with how well that army did on the modern day battlefield against really good players. So let's say this very old army did quite good there. But just like to draw your attention to Trajan's kills as well, 1,648 good kills there, and Bark and Spartan Leonidas good kills. But as you know, it's Mystique there with that massive army, maybe didn't get the kills that Mystique wanted there. But just like to say, that was a really great battle there, and really well played to Mystique, Bark, Trajan and Spartan Leonidas. Really well played there, and really well played to Mars, Steve Longshanks and Mad King. Just like a shout out there to Mars for holding so long, and he really held well there. It's Spartan Commander saying look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.